remove the springs off the sears with a flathead small little screwdriver. They have been removed. Now you need a punch to punch that pin out that way. I like to put a piece of wood so the pin can go out. Line up the pin with the punch. Hit. There's the pin. Pair of pliers is nice. You can actually pull the pin out. There's your pin. Set that aside. Now you can remove your sears and you can inspect them. As you can see, they're nice and blue. That part has been hardened. But what you can do is file that. With a file, remove all the sharp edges around your sears. Move the other one and remove your sear spring. It goes in the middle. On my next video, I will show you how to put it back together. Now we're going to remove the trigger. On the trigger, you will need a smaller punch, one like this. You can punch it out that way. Put your hand on the receiver front end while holding it. Your trigger then has come loose. That little pin, notice it has a round side and a flat side. This side is rounder, that side is flatter. Always pins go back in from right to left. Pins removed from left to right. Put that aside. These little springs here are your trigger springs. Do not worry, don't take those out. All you have to do is get them out of the way. Okay, one goes out of the way and the other one already has been removed. In order to remove your trigger, you will need a small screwdriver. One like that. All you have to do is unscrew it. There's a little pin you can unscrew. There's your pin. One side is threaded, the other side is slotted. When you put it back together, always clean the threads and put oil on it. Set that aside. Now you can remove your trigger. By the way, this is a Savage Fox BSE and it's a single trigger. Move the trigger. Now you have this part of the trigger that you can actually move aside. Being a single trigger unit, this one activates your second hammer, I believe. Inspect that very clean it. You need to clean it and remove all file, all burrs. Okay. Now those parts have been removed. If you want to remove your safety, the way to remove the safety is using a very small screwdriver. Pop this spring forward and put even a larger screwdriver behind it, and there's a pin in there. That pin will drop and then your safety switch can be pulled up. Be very careful, because if that pin gets lost, it's very small. Okay? Alright. Next we're going to remove the cocking lever, which is this top lever, but we need to remove that spring first. That spring is very strong in tension. And now the way we're going to do it, I believe it should be done in a vise, but we're going to try to do it like this to show you guys how it's done. Need a long screwdriver like that at the same time that you are putting pressure out with your thumb. My thumb is behind it, so I'm putting pressure, and at the same time I'm pushing the spring. Let's see if it'll come out. Okay. Oops, that's what we didn't want. We just lost a spring, like I told you guys. Here it is. Here's the spring. That's from your cocking lever. This is your spring. Goes in like this. Okay. Now, like I said, springs are very important. And if you would have this on a vise, you'd be able to control your spring a little better. But that's the way you remove the cocking lever spring. Now we're going to remove the hammers. Now on the hammers, the pin for the hammers have to be punched out. Again, all pins from left to right. But these springs have these parts inside the springs, and they're spring loaded. Not that much, as you can see. This is the actual spring over here that you feel for those hammers. Okay, so what we're going to do is remove the pin. Again, I like to use a block like this and the punch. Now, a lot of people require, and it's a good idea, to grab a rag and put it around the opening. So if there is a spring that pops out, and there shouldn't be, it's caught by the rag and it doesn't fly out. Okay, as you can see, there's spring tension. Okay, that's one hammer's out. We're going to remove the first hammer. There you go. That's your first hammer. Okay, that's your left side hammer, which drives your left firing pin. Again, you'll see there's burrs in all these areas. We need to file those down. Put that aside. And now we're going to remove the springs on the inside. What I like to do is at this point try to pull the spring by hand while putting my, and if that doesn't work, then go back to step one in trying to punch the pin all the way. There's your main springs with the plungers. That's the one on the left. Also, be advised that the long part of the plunger goes towards the bottom. Always remember that. And there's instructions on how to do it. Inspect your springs, make sure there's no rust in them. These look very good, and put that aside. We still have your center springs and your right hammer. You need to lift that up a little more. We do a second block, make it a little higher, and see if we can pop that out. Go. And now remove your center springs. That didn't go out yet. Need to pull